All right, as you see in the title, we are joined by head coach of the Liberty Flames, who just clinched a berth in March Madness, 12 seed. They'll be taking on Oregon. So as I said to Coach McKay here just before we started, they're the last game Eastern Standard Time, and I'm sure 10-10 won't actually happen on time. But they face Oregon, the 5 seed out west, so it should be a really fun matchup. We'll talk a few minutes here today about your group this year. And just some things that I think were really interesting about you guys. And before we jump into all that, first of all, thank you for dropping by. And first of all, good luck as well.
Yeah, Taylor, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate your love for college basketball. It certainly comes across on this platform, especially. But we're excited to be included in the NCAA tournament. It's a really hard thing to do. It's a privilege to get there, and there's a lot of joy, adulation, and anticipation until you see your opponent. So I've experienced the gamut of emotions. And once I saw Dana Altman and the Oregon Ducks up there, now the reality hits.
Yeah. So you guys played a very tough schedule in the Conference USA, but come out 28-6, 13-5 overall. Conference USA was the 9th highest rated team according to KenPom. I think that's something that a lot of people who maybe pick this sport up in February or March are just not going to know, and they'll kind of start looking through it and picking their upsets, Cinderellas, whatever you call it. That was ahead of team conferences like the American, the Missouri Valley, the Big West, who people were arguing for 2 different teams in. So a lot of great tough competition. So talk about the strength of your league this year overall and how it helped you prepare for obviously taking on a high major opponent.
Yeah, Trevor, you do your homework. Like, without a doubt, that league schedule, night in and night out, was as arduous as they come. I know every league has an element of that to it, but we ended up getting 2 additional teams in the NIT, Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. So I just think the landscape of college basketball has changed significantly. It's as old as it's ever been, maybe ever going to be. And with guys using the additional years with COVID and what have you, as well as the combination of NIL, and really there's more opportunity here in the States at a Division I school than maybe even overseas. So I think parity exists across the board, but it's not only strengthened the high majors, those power conferences, but I also think it's strengthened the middle as well, and even low majors. So it was a privilege to be in Conference USA. Our league has great leadership, and there are some fabulous coaches. I mean, Trevor, again, I'm not saying that for gas for the other coaches to feel respected. There's really good coaching in this league, and then you add that to some of the players that we played against. I think we have a bunch of pros in Conference USA. So that being said, no, it's not the Big Ten, but I do think it was tough enough that our guys know that we've played against some pretty good opponents and some different styles that hopefully have prepared us for the postseason.
Something I've always wondered that I brought up earlier, the 10-10, the last game of the first round type of deal. Whether you're the first game, last game, I don't think it really matters. I think the next couple of days is probably pretty consistent. But obviously you're busy talking to guys like me for the next 3 or 4 days, right? But I know your staff is going to be putting in a lot of big work there, scouting Oregon, a team you probably, all jokes aside, coaches always say, haven't watched much of that team, right? Because you really haven't had to. But talk us through what the next couple of days looks like, just from what your staff will be doing. How does a team really approach, okay, you've got 3 or 4 days to get ready for, like you said, a Big Ten team that you've never seen before?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. When I was with Virginia, Coach Bennett, we went to a few NCAA tournaments there. And, one of the things I love and respect about Coach was, we were who we were. We prepared and put some time and effort into our opponent, but we weren't going to make dramatic changes to what we did every day. And because of that experience there, I was at UVA for 6 years, Trev. So I kind of jokingly say I got a master's degree in the pack line defense. But we've subscribed to that philosophy as well. Now, I have peaked at Oregon. I have so much respect for Dana Altman. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I've taken a peek at them throughout the year because I love college basketball, not unlike yourself. And they've got a really good team. And Shellstad, maybe one of the best guards in America. Nate Biddle is a terrific player. I don't know if he gets the credit for his defensive prowess. Bamba's been he's been at a couple of different schools, but really found a home in Eugene, and not only can he score, but he can facilitate. They just they present a lot of challenges for any team, and them having gone through the Big Ten schedule, I think our preparation will be, we'll focus on what we do on the daily, but we'll also try and get as much of a deposit into what they do terrifically well, and how we counter it with some of the things that we hope to do well.
So obviously March, the fun part about it's the storylines, the players that are going to, again, those that may follow it in February, March, and just kind of wake up and go like, who's that Jack Golke guy? Right. And all of a sudden people have never heard of this guy. Now
You knew who Jack Golke was before Jack Golke hit 10 threes against Kentucky.
I only know that because I respect Greg Campy too much, but and just how awesome he's been. So talk about, look, you've got a really talented group. You guys play really well on both sides of the ball, but Caden Matheny can absolutely light it up. I'm a North Carolina guy, born and raised, and to see Darius and his success, their small guard you've had great success with over the years. But Caden's all of listed at 5'11" and can just absolutely shoot the ball just like a flamethrower. So just talk about like his potential. And I know you maybe don't want to hone in on one guy. You've got a great team, but he's going to be really exciting. I think a lot of folks will be knowing the last name Matheny here very shortly.
Yeah, he had a great Conference USA tournament, ended up being the MVP. And you said it best. He's a fabulous player, but he's even a better person. Trev, he transferred from Bowling Green. We actually recruited him a little bit coming out of high school. And I mistakenly thought, I'm not sure we could play with two smaller guards and be really successful. So we ended up taking a bigger guard. And I don't know if we would have got Caden, but I think the path that he ended up taking benefited both him and us, because he's been through some of the hard. He understands the rigors you face when you're in college basketball. And when we got him, he's a little banged up physically, but I think what's happened to him is because of the people that he's around. And I think our locker room has an unbelievable sense of togetherness to it, and the collection of dudes that are in there have a selflessness that's really authentic. So I think it's reinvigorated his joy and passion for the game, and I think we've seen that manifested on the floor. He's got unlimited range, not unlike Darius McGee, and but he's such a great teammate, and he doesn't have an off button. He works so hard, just to get him to this juncture of the season. Trev took some strategy because he could wear himself out in practice if he weren't careful. But he's got a cast of characters around him that I think you'll like. That's the beauty of this team. I think they've got an authentic and genuine self-sacrifice to them that it really is inspiring.
Yeah, I think the thing about your group this year too is just like you mentioned, you got a great group of guys around them too. But I think you're a relatively deep team, and I think that could really play it into an advantage, especially like I said later on in the day on Friday. Traveling all the way that far away, 3,000 miles away, obviously on Oregon's home turf there. I really think that could be an advantage to you. You don't have to give me, the scout in case Dana Altman is listening today.
Of course he is.
But look, they're the 31st defense in KenPom. They're the 39th best offense. They're a super well-balanced team. What is something that, maybe you are willing to share now that is going to be really important in this matchup we need to keep an eye on?
Well, again, I think you summed it up. Like they've got balance on both ends. They won 8 out of 9, and their only loss is to Michigan State, who a lot of people are picking to win the national championship. So I think what happened to them after maybe a little bit of a bumpy road in the middle of the season, they've seemingly found a commitment to defense that has catapulted them into a different stratosphere. I alluded to Biddle earlier. Like, again, I know he can score the ball, make threes, he can distribute, facilitate, and an excellent rebounder. But man, he's got great instincts defensively. And Trevor, like when you have a guy that can protect the basket like that and make it hard on others, it's a challenge. But again, we've got to be who we are. I don't think you can reinvent yourself in 3 or 4 days to try and match your opponent. But I would say that the defensive end of the floor, that level that they're playing with, is something that obviously we'll have to execute fairly well in order to combat that. And then offensively, man, I mentioned 3 guys before, but they're deeper than us. Like I don't know how many guys he'll play against us, but it seems like they've got about an 8-9 man rotation that he feels pretty comfortable with. And although we can go to 8 or 9 as well, it'll be a real challenge for us. And again, we're happy to be there, but also have an expectation to compete and give our very best.
Last couple of things, we'll get you out of here. I know you're busy, man, the next couple of days. Look, you mentioned your experience at Virginia, and albeit I think that stuff when you're an assistant or you're an associate coach, there's a lot that you can learn. I think that prepares you for being a head coach. I think you even alluded to some of that. But you've been with Liberty for what, since 2000, and if I got the years lined up right, 2015-16 season, and you've made the tournament twice. How are those years, 2021 and 2020, 2021, and 2018-19, how has being in the tournament prepared you for being in there again? How does like the consistent, okay, we've been there, done that. Is there something you learned from being there previously that's been really helpful?
Yeah, great question, Trevor. I think, again, man, for us at Virginia, being in the ACC, and it was really strong when in my time there with Coach Bennett for 6 years. Like, we kind of knew we were in when we were ranked nationally, et cetera. It's just a matter of your seed and where you're going to be placed. That's different at the mid-major level. So we actually qualified 3 years in a row, but COVID knocked us out that 2020 year. But we still went through the conference tournament. And I would say the preparation comes from the pressure you have on you in that conference tournament. Like we were the 1 seed in the 2 seed in the first year, and we ended up winning at Lipscomb to go to the tournament in 19. Then we were the 1 seeded and won it at our place and qualified. And the day before selection, or let's see, I think they canceled the season on a Wednesday. So a couple of days before the tournament. And then the next year we were the 1 seed and had to play at a neutral site. And again, the pressure that is put on you. Well, this year in Conference USA, we were the 1 seed again. And to the 8th or 9th best, depending on what ranking you use, 8th or 9th best league in the nation. So I think all of the aforementioned is what would prepare you for an NCAA tournament. And we've had a decent amount of success. So there hadn't been too many games where we haven't been the favorite, Trev. So there's always a burden of expectation on you then. And so I think our guys, again, I think they're really happy and have a grateful heart for being here, but I also think they want to compete and see if we can't make some noise.
All right, last question for you. First of all, this one's more of a comment, and then it kind of will lead into my next thing. Someone on the selection committee has a sense of humor because this is people famously know the rematch of the football bowl a couple years ago, Fiesta Bowl, Oregon and Liberty. Obviously, that didn't turn out for the Flames, but I know how tight knit that community is. So this kind of leads me into my next question. How tight knit coaches and all the faculty and staff are, but Liberty is going to be put on, in a spotlight here, and I think this is really good for universities. It obviously can drive attendance and do a lot of great things for a school. Add your part to this. What is somebody's watching and they just never heard of Liberty and now they're considering it for school, whatever, they're going to be put on the national spotlight. What is your pitch to somebody watching that, what is Liberty and what is the school about?
Yeah, Trevor, thanks for asking the question. You give me the softball to promote the university. It's a place that, all 3 of my children will get their degree from Liberty, and I was at a different institution when my daughter Ellie started. So I just think man, this place is like no other. It's, because of maybe a little bit of success we've had, I've had chances to go and make more money or be in a more prestigious conference or level, whatever you want to call it. And I've stayed because like I really feel like this place is unique to the world when it comes to a private school education that has a commitment, an authentic commitment to training champions for Christ. And I just think the mission of the university and the people that reside in our campus is second to none. Not saying we're better than any other place. I'm just saying there's such a spirit of unity and a pursuit of excellence here that, man, I feel like we're one big giant body. And yeah, I might be a cuticle on the fingernail, but it's such a privilege to be a part of it. And like, if you've never been on campus or you never experienced it, I just tell you, like, come take a look, because sometimes there's a narrative that's different than reality. And I just think this is a special, special place. So thanks for the question. I would have probably not mentioned that if I wasn't asked, but I love this place, and I'm thankful and grateful that honored that I get a chance to work here.
I love it. Coach, thank you for your time today. I asked for 15 minutes and we're right there. So I look forward to it. I know you said I'm one of the folks that have never been out that way before. Been through Lynchburg, never been to the university, never been to a game.
Well, Trevor,
that off the list
we got to change that next year. You just call me and let me know. I got you. We'll get you a couple of good seats. And I need your prediction for your Final Four just real quick. So I can next year when we do this, if we're fortunate enough, then I can give you a bad time if you don't get it right.
Put me on the spot. I haven't done the one where you look at all the detailed matchups, yada, 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 the pick with your, I guess, brain more than your heart. I did a gut one last night, super late at night. I have Texas A&M and Florida on that side.
Wow.
I just I've been a buyer in the Aggies all year. I won't spend forever on it. I just think when you have a guy like Wade Taylor, anything's possible.
Good.
And then Florida, there's a lot of things that Florida checks off historically. Long story short, they're one of only like two teams that fit every single historical category to win the national championship. Other one of those being Duke. No one's probably surprised by that. Best player in college basketball. And then I've been a Kelvin Sampson guy as long as I can remember. Again, North Carolina, this tied at the Pembroke here. I love that guy to death. And they're just, the fact that they're better without Jamal Shedd's kind of incredible to even.
It's crazy. And it's
I've been on that all year. I've been like pounding people's head like, hey, they're actually better. And it's just kind of just an insane statement. So,
yeah.
I have them. I have Florida beating Duke of the national championship.
Nice. Trev, I'm gonna remember these picks. So, man, good luck to you, and thanks for having us on. Really appreciate it. And again, thanks for all you do for college basketball. You got a passion that is very evident.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.